made a lot of special modifications myself. But we're a little rushed, so if you'll just get on board, we'll get out of here.
Ho ho ho! We are back. Another day, another Wednesday, and I hope you guys are in a good spirits because it's hump day. Hump day means you're halfway there, you're halfway through that work week, and some of you guys are still at work. So for those of you guys on your way home from work, safe journeys. And for those of you that are here, welcome, welcome. And actually, let's see who's here. I see Mudhorn Station is here. Hello, hello. I see that Jerry popped in, but she can't stay because she's got to work. That's a tough working lady right there. Thank you, thank you. Who do I see here? I also see Mr. Smebulak. Oh, look who's here. It's Mr. Bjorn. He's here. He's here. And we have the Fat Red Foo, on his way home from work, so he's listening to us. So I better use my nice voice. Oh, yeah. How's it going, man? Who else do we have here? We have, look who's here. We have Nebulous Nexus. Welcome, welcome. Get ready to see this guy soon. He's going to be on the show soon. I can't wait. I'm excited for that. Yeah, so guys, thank you. I know there's going to be more of you guys trickling in. Abby, unfortunately, could not make it this week because she's not well. So all of you guys, send her your good, positive vibes so that she could feel better and that she can come back next week. Wow, what a crazy few days or few weeks it's been on this show. Losing our co-host. Congratulations on Toy Mercs. I hope you guys do really well. And and also great stuff happening, like gaining a new co-host. We have Abby been promoted, but unfortunately she's not well. So everybody send her your good vibes. But enough with all that stuff. I know there's gonna be more of you guys trickling in because Abby's not here. I'll be checking out the comments myself, so you guys keep the chat lively, talks amongst yourselves. But more importantly, let's get the show on the road and let's enjoy some good fun goodness. Let's go get our creator for today's show. Let's punch it. Hey, how's it going? I hope I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, thank God.
Woohoo! Full success. That is so awesome. Great to have you on, Mr. Electric Blue Station. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. Man, that background looks awesome behind you. I really got to beef up my background because mine doesn't come anywhere close to that amazingness. So for those of you guys who didn't get a chance to catch WMC last week, go and check them out. They did a show with Electric Blue featured last Friday, so go and check them out. You can take an awesome tour of his station, so you're not going to want to miss any of that as I spill my beer on the desk. That's always good.
Oh no.
We're good. It didn't hit anything. Didn't hit any keyboard, so that's good.
What you drink?
Woo! Asahi.
Oh.
Japanese beer. Very good. Very good stuff. It's very good, actually. Normally I drink Sapporo, which is another Japanese beer, but I decided to try this one. My cousin who lives in Japan was saying, hey, you want to try this? You should try this other beer. It's pretty good. It's in one of the top 4 beers out of Japan, so gave it a shot, and I'm not disappointed. So a good thing because I still have 3. I still have 3 more to drink. So, but so yeah, it's been good times. Good times. How about you? How have you been?
I've been good. Nurse working at a hospital in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and always stay busy. And this hobby is a blessing. It lets me relax and kind of decompress after a long day at the hospital. So.
And yeah, you do a lot of the work in what you're doing. So it's kind of funny. You say you work at a hospital, but you're like a doctor when it comes to like this kit bashing because you really take these things apart and you really start putting them together in some really unique ways. I've never seen anyone really do this. That's why a lot of the times when we do our weekly Greeblies, you're sometimes someone I go looking through his stuff to see what I can find, because you're always using Greeblies and this stuff that says, out of the blue stuff or everyday stuff, and you just use it all really well in your designs. Like there's a few things we're going to feature today where you've kit bash some stuff where you just redesign some of the Greeblies that you found in nature and or in the wild rather, and you put together. So we're going to feature most of those kinds of things, which is amazing. Thank you for sharing a lot of the pictures that you have. You actually even sent one at the last minute, and I was able to get those in, so that's awesome. So we'll feature those as well in the what are you working on feature. So we'll get through some of those, and as we're going through that, we'll talk to the chat. And if there's anything you want to show us, feel free to pop your camera off and go wild and show us whatever you got, and we'll feature that in those segments. So I guess how about we get things rolling then, right? I think that sounds good. Let's do that. And now it's time for Greeblies.
Greeblies! Oh, my precious! Oh, yes, anything can be a Greebly!
Well, it's funny that you're on the show today as in our Creators Corner, because of the fact that you're actually one of the first people that we're featuring on the show in terms of Greeblies. So one of the things I noticed is one of your more recent ones. You found this. So what is this thing exactly?
It's for stationery. I actually found it at Goodwill, but I mean, you can find them at regular convenience stores too. Meyer. I don't know what
Right.
you have in neck of the woods, but any office, you know,
Supply
stationery.
store. Oh, okay, that's cool. I'm sure you could probably find stuff like maybe on a smaller scale than this at like a dollar store, like a Dollar Tree or something like that as well. So especially this time of year too, with school opening up very soon, or I guess in some places already open, I'm sure you could find a lot of these supplies, and even like Walmart and stuff like that these days. But that's really cool. And then here's it repainted, and he turned it sideways. It's funny how sometimes all a Greebly takes is just the right perspective. And even looking at this like this, you don't see exactly where you're going with it yet. But here's where I love what you did with it. It's just by adding the right amount of Greeblies. And again, everyday stuff. Like I see a washer on there. I see some like is that what was it, drywall bits in there? But yeah, you've used just about everything inside there just to add as Greeblies. Plus, obviously, stuff that's down to that scale as well. But yeah, this is really awesome. And then you even took it a step further. And here we go on the side here. You added it to your location. I guess your part of your station.
Mm-hmm.
And then here it is with the signage and all that kind of stuff as well. That's fantastic, man.
Thank you.
Like, what made you think, like, when you were looking at that, is that, like, right when you saw that, was that right away what you were going for, or was it just something, oh, I'll just grab it, and then maybe somewhere along the line I might make something out of it?
I tend to get obsessed with things just with
Mm-hmm.
my ADD and the obsessive type personality.
Oh, trust me, I'm the same way.
And I tend to see things just through the lens of what can I use as Greeblies, what can I use for the station. It's just
Mm-hmm.
something fun, like especially after work. You know, when you get obsessed with work, being a
Yeah.
nurse, it's pretty intense, and it's a way for me to decompress and kind of almost like meditation. I just like going to a store and saying what can be used,
Mm-hmm.
and when you go through that lens, you'd be surprised how many things you can find in the store and out in the wild to use.
Oh yeah, especially with a lot of your designs. Because one of the things you're talking about last week in Rat Toys Galaxy, so you're talking about going to McDonald's and eat those pancake tins that you eat the pancakes out of. Like, you know what? It's really funny. I didn't really picture it until I started looking at some of your pictures, and I started noticing in some of the backgrounds, even the background in the picture on the right, at just a little poking out the top end of the back, you could see a little cutout of one that you stuck inside there. But it's really awesome. Like, you don't really know that that's what it is until someone points it out. That's what I love about the Greeblies too. And sometimes there's a little bit of dry brushing on it, or maybe adding another Greebly to that Greebly, and then adding that to a background, and you wouldn't even know that that's what it was. And now I can't unsee that Greebly. So now every time I go to McDonald's, I'm like, oh, can I get like 3 of those pancakes, please? Because I really just want the tin.
They're stingy with them. You gotta be tricky sometimes. Like I do keto where I'll go. Yeah, I just sausage and egg McMuffin. Put them on
Yeah,
one of these trays. You know.
yeah, exactly. Can I have this and this? But can you put it on this tray? Because my son loves this tray. So yeah, do a lot of those too. I do, especially when you're going through the drive-through. Oh, can I get all those packaged in those pancake trays? My son loves the packaging. And hey, they might surprise you, right? So yeah, you definitely have to be creative. But yeah, definitely with a lot of your stuff, I could see what you come up with. But other ways that you can be creative too, here's another person that I love his ideas. Fat Red Foo comes up with some really great ideas. And again, it's just a matter of having that right perspective. And like you said too, for him and his wife, they go out toy hunting, and sometimes not even just toy hunting, just go out hunting to like treasure hunt to see what kind of treasures they can find, like dollar stores and stuff like that, right? Because you never know what you could find out there. So that's kind of like their little escape, like their meditation, as you put it, Electric Blue. And so yeah, he found this for a very low price. But it not only does it have Greeblies that you can use within it, like the toys itself, but you could take a lot of the parts, break it off, cut it up, stick it together onto something else, and make a new toy. I know Electric Blue, you're like an expert on doing stuff like that. When we get into your stuff, we'll really dive into some of what you've done here. It's really amazing. So yeah, this is definitely a really cool playset that he saw. I believe he saw this at TJ Maxx. And I saw it for the low price of $10.99, which isn't a bad price at all, especially when you're considering all the stuff that you're getting in there. For example, like this, you could actually use it as a satellite, and then the other panels that are in there, you can maybe use those as like wall panels and stuff like that as well. So you just never know what you could find. And then you have like the astronauts, you can use them as background characters, or maybe even mannequins in your store that sells armor and gear and stuff like that. You never know. You have a million and one. Your imagination is your only limitation, right? So awesome stuff with that. And then we have Starboy sending us some stuff. So these are panels that you can find in like a lot of those little hardware stores. He just found one here. Now sometimes he's coming, I believe, in packs of like 2 or 3s, and it usually comes at around like $2, either a piece or like packs of like $3 or $4. So yeah, he just got one of these. Just painted it and weathered it a little bit, and then was using actual backgrounds in photography and videos and stuff like that. So that's amazing to see. Awesome stuff, Starboy. Thank you so much for sending that to us here. And look, a very low price. You got it for $234, so you can't beat that price. So yeah, awesome stuff. I love what we get every week. We get somebody sending us something that you never know what could be used as a Greebly. As we go through some of your work, we're gonna see a lot of that kind of stuff, because I love some of your creations, because like some of them are just really out there, and you're like, how the hell did he come up with that? So that's the best part of today. We're gonna go through some of those designs, and then you can go into detail of what your thought process was when you're putting some of these awesome creations together. I guess with that said, let's go and see what we were working on.
No, bigger. Smaller. No, it's the one with a hole on the end that curves this way. I think I saw it once before over there in that pile near the circulators. There you go. I always knew you were the smart one.
All right, so let's get into stuff that we were working on. This is where we're going to really start diving in to some of the meat. So I'll start things off. Normally we'd go in alphabetical order, but because Abby's not here and because Electric Blue, you'd be next in the order. Because you have so much stuff that we're going to dive into and different things that you're working on and that you've worked on, I will get to you next, because I have a lot less stuff than you do on the go. So here's some of the things that I've been working on. So recently I've dove back into model kit building, and actually before we dive into that, here's what I introduced to you guys last week. So this is a little toy that was donated to me, or was actually given to me in a trade that I made back in the day with Zilla. And I was like, what am I gonna do with this thing? And then right away, I was thinking escape pod, but then I was thinking, you know what? This could be like one of those worker bee that work for larger ships. Maybe a ship stranded out there, and this is almost like a little tugboat. So, like to the smaller crafts, you can go out there and grab it instead of using one of those larger ships. So I started painting, and unfortunately, yesterday, as I was painting, it started pouring rain just out of nowhere. It just started pouring rain as I was spray painting it. So that's why there's all that marking up on the side there. It's because that was likely where I was holding it in my hand, which I don't mind because I might use that as like some damage on the ship. So when I do some weathering, I might weather it so it's like rust or damage or like maybe it's some carbon scoring damage from like a ship blasting at it because it was trying to steal something of theirs. So I'll figure a way of using it as opposed to like trying to sand it down, make it all soft and shiny. You want stuff to look weathered. So that's my next project after this. But yeah, it's coming along nicely. I'm really having fun with this. And again, those arms came from a Joy Toy mech. It's one of those construction mechs that they have that has like the drill arm, and then it has like these two smaller arms at the back. I'm like, those arms up there are just useless, so decided to add it to this, and I feel this is a better fit for it. And then, as you guys saw last week, I created the Twi'lek on the left. So I have her. I started working on her backstory. Then this week I started working on the one on the right. So these are both from older Star Wars figure lines where there's just 5 POA. And you guys know I'm not a huge fan of 5 POA figures, but sometimes the sculpt's really good. So I chopped off their heads and gave them some new bodies to go on. And I figured these are, for me anyways, is a better fit. They're like my little mercenary assassins. You hire them for the right price. And they each have their own identical robots. The robots that you guys saw last week, those are the ones that each one of them has their very own. And in the collaboration with Defiant Outer Rim Station, we're going to be making a story where my station manufactures those robots, and we sent a shipment to his station. So that's why he has his versions of those robots as well. So anyone who has those RoboCop EM208 robots and you want to join in, and you also have those Skeletron heads painted silver, you can get those as well, and then we can add you guys to the story as well. So here's what I was talking about. So I started working on model kits again. So this is my first build in a long time, and as you guys know, I'm legally blind, so trying to see things can be challenging. So that picture in the middle is to show you guys those tiny little white things at the above the head are little horns that are supposed to go into the top of that head. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. My eyesight just doesn't allow it. So, and my 52-year-old fingers make it very hard to hold things, even with tweezers. But it was still a fun project. I got to put the ship together, and I actually got most of it done. The only thing I didn't get done are the horns. So I might improvise, and what I might do is just grab some toothpicks, break off the tip, paint them white, and stick them in there as horns. I think I'll have an easier time doing that than trying to stick those little plastic things in there. So... but yeah, that was a lot of fun. I might do some more. I have two more RCs and a Gundam one that I want to put together. The Gundam one, I'm more likely just going to use parts for Greeblies, because those are a lot of fun for Greeblies as well. And I'm making a new Superman. Even though the new Superman movie's out, I'm not loving the Superman movie or that costume. So I decided to start making another one. I'm using the Henry Cavill head, so obviously I have to match up the paints. I still have some touching up to do and some sculpt work that I want to do on the feet for the boots and stuff. But this just to give you an idea. This is off the Joy Toy body, so those gladiators that just recently came out, I decided to use that. I've ordered a cape for them, a soft goods cape with wiring, just like I did with my Superwoman custom that I did a little while back. And let's dive into your stuff now. So this is the one that you sent me. That's the most recent one, and this is amazing. What did you call this one?
I just call it the bird's nest right now. I just thought it kind of looks almost kind of like a robotic tree, and then the top almost kind of looked like a.
You should call it even short term, just the nest. Just call it the nest.
Like that. Yeah, I like that. Let's do that. The nest. That's even better.
That. But yeah, so this is amazing. So what is this built on?
That is built on the the support structures for like where you have two monitors, like.
Yep, yep.
And what I did is I just liked the look of it to use it for a platform, just with
Mm-hmm.
the two arms for the monitor. And then I just bought another one. And then I just went to the hardware store today, and then I've got some really sturdy metal electrical adapters, like fittings, so that way I could attach both of them
Okay.
and I could stack them on top of one another. And it's surprisingly sturdy.
That's really awesome, man. That came out really, really good. Let's take out some other angles. Yes, there's a few other shots of it. But I love how much you have, like the fact that you have so much stacked on it. And like, when you think about the spine itself that's holding up the AT-AT at the ATST rather at the top, that's amazing. You have the ATST at the top, then you have the N1 on the just below that. Is that the regular N1 or is that the Epic Heroes one, like the smaller one, the Galactic
Uh,
Heroes rather?
the N1, it's that's actually the fancy one.
Oh, so that's the regular one,
That's
the
the yeah
TVC one. Wow,
yeah
that's
that's
even
the
better.
TVC one. I do
Nice.
have the other one,
Hmm.
the Epic one, and I plan to paint that yellow and uh,
Nice.
different color scheme. Yeah.
So here's the lower portion of it. So I see a Skyhawk on there. That's awesome, man. That thing holds a lot. So is this gonna be like a? So this is gonna be a stationary post, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Nice.
I haven't decided where exactly I'm going to put it. I just kind of threw it up on the piano just because I had no time. But
Just
I
to take
may,
take some shots. Okay.
yeah, I may attach it to something. We'll see. The basement's getting kind of smaller and smaller, so
You have to start moving some of your daughter's stuff a little further
yeah,
into the corner. Honey, can we just move some of this stuff over a little bit? Daddy needs some room. That's awesome, though.
exactly.
That's one of the things I love too about like your station and how quickly it developed. Because I remember when you started out with just that small little display case. They had the blue lights on it, and you were using it almost like a gate post or outpost or something like that at first, and the initial gate where you walk into Electric Blue Station, which was really cool. So that you started with that, and now look where you are with this amazing station that's behind you right now. And I love that you've gone with the varying scales as well. So here's another shots of some of the landing platforms. Now, are you planning on adding lights to this? Because I do know that some of your builds that you do add electronics to some of them.
Yeah, I'm kind of running out of power outlets too, but so I'm gonna have to get creative probably. But but I would like to add some at least some minimal lighting to it, like probably like a LED power strip and kind of get creative, or
Nice.
even fairy lights maybe, and then just use batteries and get creative with it. Yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
it needs lights.
it kind of does. And do you use? I think you said you use Evan Designs for some of your lights. Do you ever use Evan Designs? I'm not sure if you use them for your
I
lights or
don't
not.
believe I have. No,
Well,
what
we'll
it?
we'll, we'll talk afterwards, and I'll
Yeah.
even add a link. I'll even add a link to the description as well. So it's a company that I use, and a lot of their lights are very simple to put together. So like if you want to do like a string of lights, instead of going to like your local store, yeah, it's a little bit cheaper to buy them. As you're in the States, it might be cheaper for you, especially with shipping and stuff like that. But what they do is they sell a lot of like LED lights that you would find in like that people use in like their train set and model buildings sets and stuff like that. So they offer different lights like that, but they also have tutorial videos on how to light. If you don't know how to plug all those lights together, how to use them with like a 9-volt battery, or how to use them with an actual plug, they show you how to do all of that stuff as well. So yeah, definitely a good. They're one of the stores that I like to go to when I'm not looking for just like the cheap little lights. If I want anything that I want running at 9 volts and above, I usually go to them, and they have some really good deals, especially if you buy in bulk. You save more when you buy in bulk with them. So I'll definitely leave a link to them after the show. I'll leave a link to them in the description as well, and then Electric will talk about them as well.
Yeah.
So here's some other shots. Here's the top of it. Like I still can't believe you have an ATST on top of that, at the very top of it. I picture Jenga. Like I figure you put something else on there, it's gonna teeter totter and drop.
Yeah, I think it's fairly sturdy, but I know my cat, Mr. Snuggles, he likes
Oh
to be a
boy,
butthead
he
sometimes.
likes
So
to snuggle.
I'm hoping he doesn't snuggle with this because it might be
Yeah,
bad.
that could be that. Well, actually, that would just be more Greebly parts for you, right? If it falls down.
Right,
But that N1, I really wouldn't want anything to happen to that N1.
right. Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, I'd love to see. I'd love to see how this would look, and I'd like to see what your ideas would be on this with how you would put lights on it. I'm pretty interested in that because actually one of the things I haven't added yet on mine. I just started doing that the other day. I started adding some string lights to it. Nothing's lit up because I can't find a plug anywhere. But once I get to that, it's gonna really take off. But I also found these breathing lights. So basically, I got these red breathing lights. So they have that slow, little steady,
mm,
repetitive light, and then
yeah,
so I'm gonna be putting those at the very edges of my platforms. So it looks almost like those hazard lights, like that you'd
nice.
see at the top of buildings and stuff like that. So yeah, I could see this having stuff like that, like very at the very top of it or the very tips of them. I could see this using some of those lights on there, and that would look really really cool.
Yeah, I would, I would.
So yeah, definitely something to think about. Oh, but yeah, some awesome stuff on there. So, guys, thank you every week. As you know, you guys can send us your Greeblies, any ideas that you may have, even if you haven't used them yet. If you just have ideas and you saw the item itself, take pictures of that item, send it to us here, and then like send us a little brief synopsis. You can send that to my Whip Wednesday live Instagram. You can send me a message there along with a quick picture and a short description as to what that item is, how you would use it in your world building, or if you have used it in your world building, send some of the pictures where you've used it, and we'll showcase that in our weekly Greeblies segment. But yeah, that's amazing stuff. Electric Blue, I can't believe. And we're going to dive into a whole lot of stuff because you sent me a lot of pictures, and I'm really excited to get into a lot of that stuff. So I like that we're getting to see a whole different side of you. So we got the tour of your station. So you got to see the end results of a lot of these really cool builds. And I could tell in last week's show when you're giving the tour, there were certain places you were, or certain vehicles you were stopping on that I can kind of tell you wanted to talk about, but you didn't really have time because you kind of had to go around through the whole station. So we're going to focus on some of those things today. So let's dive into some of those now. So here's one of the builds that I really really love, and you were inspired, I'm guessing, by not only this picture but I'm sure some other pictures. And this is one of your more recent builds. I don't think it's done yet, right? But it's pretty freaking close based on
Yeah,
what
it's
I've
pretty
seen.
close. Yeah,
Here's what you've built. Now that bottom thing, that's a ship, right? From the DC. What's that power lines?
yeah. The Blue Beetle. I know it's
Yeah,
like the
that's it.
Beetle ship that I love.
That's it. Yeah. And I see you love it so much you cut it open. Well, yeah, it looks
Right.
awesome.
Yeah.
I really love that ship too because I wanted to use it because it's such a unique looking vehicle. But you've
Hmm.
used it in such a even more unique way because you're using the back end of the vehicle as the front end of your vehicle, which is really cool. So
Yeah.
here's what you've put together. So what is this? What have you put together here?
So I wanted to do a Brainiac skull ship,
Yep.
and I wanted it to be like 118 scale. And this was pretty much just the initial mock-up.
Yeah.
Uh, and I just got a skull from like a. It was around Halloween. I just got a skull and cut out for the front of the ship,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got a hamster ball, and I
Yeah.
couldn't really find one that was green, so I just got some clear, like enamel spray paint, and I just lightly spray painted to give it that
Are you
to give it
kidding? So
that
that's an
kind of
actual
feel.
clear. That's an actual clear hamster ball.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
and I
wow,
just
that's
spray
really
painted
cool.
it with some clear spray paint. Yep.
I actually thought you found a green hamster ball. I'm like, I've never seen one. Now, now I see why. It's because they don't. It's either they don't exist or we've never found one. So yeah, that's a
Believe me,
really
I've looked.
good idea.
Thanks. Yeah.
So here's the front end of it. And so yeah, a lot of people and that Blue Beetle vehicle is actually right now if you go to Walmart, especially in the States, you can get it for a pretty decent price. But if you have a really keen eye and you go into like a Goodwill or those type of toy stores, you might find one if you're lucky. But yeah, you have to be really lucky. But they're really cool. So here is now where you start to bring things together by giving it a priming coat. And so what I love about this, and I'm gonna focus more on that part when we get to some of those shots. So here's the front end. Now that it's repainted, it actually does give it that real menacing look. It actually kind of really gives it that look that you were inspired by this image here. It kind of already has the feel to it in this shot here. You can kind of already start to see it, but you weren't happy with that.
No, no, it just wasn't working on some level that I couldn't describe. And then
Ooh,
that's worse.
Brainiac's got booty.
That's the Brainiac booty. Yeah.
Big old Brainiac butt. But yeah, really, really funny. When I first saw that, I couldn't stop laughing because I was like, "Oh my god!" All I could see is Brainiac's butt. But yeah, that's just this one aspect of it. But it's a really cool. So, are you using that back, and are you gonna be using it for like a compartment for like storage or anything like that, or is it just like for holding electronics or anything? Was it used for anything? Because that's an extra storage area, right?
Yeah, yeah, it is. I honestly can't. I think I just pretty much closed it off, and just use it more for the
The
just
shape of it, like
aesthetics
to
of
that,
it,
to
yeah, the
yeah.
booty aesthetics.
I know that's not actually that's not what you're going for, but yeah, I just couldn't unsee it when I saw it. But it's just really
Oh,
cool though.
you're
Once,
you're
especially
doing
when you see it from the side, you obviously you don't see it that way. But it's
it
such
right.
a cool concept. What did you use on the side here? Because I see you've added like paneling here on the side. What's that?
That's actually the top of the Blue Beetle ship
Oh,
in
okay.
and I like the organic feel of it, how it's like with the skull ship where it's
Yep.
rounded. So I thought I could just use it on the side, but I found out real quickly that if I was going to kind of use that aesthetic, that I would have to buy a second ship in order to create more parts. So
Right. But yeah, that's a really cool concept. Glad you didn't have to destroy more of those ships to, because that's why I can't find them. You've been buying them all, but yeah, it's a really cool. But then you took it a step further. You're like, nope, I won't be outdone with the tentacles that they have on in their design. I need my own tentacles, and I see you went with different versions of it. So is this like was this like the first try? I'm like, oh, let me try this
yeah,
one.
that was like more like a test drive, and it just wasn't working mechanically
Hmm.
because those legs that I was using as the
Yeah,
base there were not stable enough for those cables you can buy at Home Depot.
yeah.
They're bendy, they're very bulky, and then I was like, this is just gonna snap right off.
Yeah, this
I
the
need,
plastic's too flimsy to support all that weight.
yeah, I need to find a different way. So that was kind of like my one of my I don't really call them failures, but just adjustments that I had to make.
Oh,
So
learning mistakes, right? So that's
yeah,
why, because I could see that you're one of those people like you obviously you learn by process. So as you're going through the whole process, like, nope, that won't work, and actually before failure, you're like, oh, you kind of spot the error before it actually happens, and then you're like, yeah, time to change this up. Let's go in a different direction. So then you decide to add some other Greeblies. You decide to, no ship is complete without defenses or offenses, if depending on how you want to look at it. So you added some cannons to it, and I really like the placement of them. 'Cause that's a really good spot. Because I believe that's just where they are on the actual comic book design, right? I believe they
I
have
I
cannons
believe
there.
so. Yeah,
But
that,
but
I
what are
believe so.
actually what are those?
Those are actually from the Guardians of the Galaxy. That $30 like cheap ship
Oh,
that
right,
you
right,
get.
that really kitty ship that they
Yeah,
have. Okay, so yeah, so you cut those off. That's really cool.
yeah.
I never would have thought of using those on there, and it fits right in. It almost feels like when you cut the pieces, it's like they cut just to the perfect shape for the design you're going for, or you just happen to know how to cut it perfectly. I guess you're just an expert. You just know how to cut it
Look,
perfectly.
I don't. I don't know about expert, but it just kind of like I'd say maybe half and half, trial and error.
So a little,
Sometimes,
yeah, a little bit of both. You snip a little bit, try and error. Like you said, you just put a little bit. Yeah, that's this will work. So yeah, you added those extra greaves. Like I said before, the other arms weren't working for you, so you decided to go in a different direction. You added these arms, which are really cool because these on their own can hold themselves up because they're all made out of wire, right?
yeah. And then for stability, I ran it through the cable box itself, and so so like one segment becomes two arms,
Yeah,
so that way it's more stable.
right.
Uh, Yeah, I still have some problems with the arms not staying put. I probably, if I do it again, I would probably put more into the electrical box itself to stabilize it. But I
Right.
feel overall, I think it worked
Oh yeah.
almost perfectly.
Because yeah, they're holding up right now in just these shots here. But of course, the
Mhm.
more you play around with them, and the more you apply pressure, the it's gonna start to give way. It's gonna start to not hold up as well. But that, like you said, trial and error. But these look really amazing. And then yeah, here's some other shots of it. Some really cool shots. I love that. Like right away, you can't unsee Brainiac. Like all you see is when you see that is Brainiac. But then I love some of the other things that you've done to make it even more so like that. Oh, here's another great angle of it as well. And then you decide to add some other aspects to it. So yeah, here's some other Greeblies you've added to it. So some added some thrusters to the ship. So I can see where so now you've moved. So you kind of split the bottom half of the ship, or is this another ship? Oh, you have two ships.
Yeah, I kind of foresaw that as being like the fuel tanks, and
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
thrusters are in between. So so that's kind of the way I kind of worked out in my head when I was building that. So
But what I like too is that it gives him more because he used that fuse box. It gives him more size, more girth, so to speak. Like it actually makes him look more menacing. Actually, by giving him that extra size, I actually really like that at the back end too, and it takes away from that booty look as well. So
yeah,
now I don't see the booty. I see a fuel tank, and then I see the bottom portion of the ship, which is really really cool. So yeah, it's coming along really nice, and this is really cute. You use you use Brainiac inside Brainiac, which is really cool. But I like where you're going with this design as well. So you're kind of going with the from the cartoon kind of design initially with where you were starting with this. But you really took it like when you guys see where he takes this, it's like insane some of the stuff that he's done with this. So here's some other angles of the cockpit as well. I really love that action figure. Where'd you get that?
I just got it online. I was looking for a Brainiac figure, and it I wanted to have more kind of like a dark aesthetic to it,
Yeah,
and
yeah, we'll see in
cartoon.
a second
But
where you take it, which is
yeah,
really, really cool. But yeah, it's still turning out really cool. Here you've added some other Greeblies as well. So on the left hand side, you guys can see where he started to add some of what I was talking about earlier, that the pancake platters.
mhm.
You've used that here in the back wall of this design, which is so cool because of the fact that again you don't know that that's what it is when you see it, and then like you said, it has so many applications because it has such a sci-fi look to it. And
Yeah.
so I really love how you've used it in this design here. And here's where you started using your Brainiac, and I see you start going with a few designs with the head at first. That I can't remember what figure that's from. That head.
Oh, the head. That's actually a like a custom 3D print that
Oh,
I got.
okay.
It may. I mean, they may have based it on another figure. It was probably like a larger figure, like a 1/12 scale figure, possibly. But
Possibly, I think that's where I might have seen it, and I know that body anywhere. That's an EM 208 from the RoboCop to Haya Toys action figure line. That's the action figure that Defiant and I are doing the collab on. So that's the one where my station builds those base bodies. So maybe your Brainiac stole it from one of my assembly lines and decided to
yeah,
go with it as a body that's useful because it's so modular. But yeah, really, really cool Greeblies that you've added here. Here's even more Greeblies that you've added to the interior of the cockpit, and I keep forgetting that that's inside of that what's it called, the hamster ball, that you have so much space that you can build with, which is so cool. I love, and what I love too is that you're using just everyday stuff to add to the Greebly work. Like those are just more wires and like wire tubings that you've added in there. Really, really cool. Now to that the pancake platter portion, did you dry brush like anything on there, or did you just use it straight the way that it is?
What I typically do is I'll take like a bright like silver metallic
Okay.
base coat, and then I will do it's like a brownish. It says it's like for rust proofing, but
Yeah.
ironically the color looks like rust, and so then I'll just spray that lightly
Mm-hmm.
lightly on there,
And then
and
give it
then
that weathering.
yeah, and usually the silver highlights usually I'll usually just kind of lightly go over it with the
Yeah.
silver so that way the highlights kind of stick out.
Oh,
That's
okay.
usually
So
good
that's,
enough.
yeah, that's what you're seeing in some of the lit areas of that cockpit. You can see it kind of reflecting more of the silver. Really cool though. So
Thank you.
here's some other angles of it as well. Again, I really love the design. So you've added a few more cannons because it wasn't menacing enough with all the the arms and cannons underneath the chin. Ah, we need more guns. More guns. Do it. So you've
Oh
added
yeah.
more guns to this, and again, this looks amazing. I just love the fact that it's about to look even more insane. It's about to go to the next level. Here's where you take it to the next step, where you really added that level of evil, is the lighting to it. Just the lighting effects that you've added to this. Now, how did you accomplish that?
That what I did is I just took a regular like a small white LED fish light
Yep.
because my original hobby was just with an aquarium hobby and I tend to draw from that.
Okay.
But what I did is I put it in there, but I found a adapter that I could use for batteries that I could plug it into, like a USB port, so
Yeah.
that way it could light up and it worked perfectly. It just
That is so
made it
cool.
pop. Yeah,
Cause that really, yeah, that really adds that level, and the fact that you went with that the globe. Now I see why you wanted to spray paint, painted the color that you did, is to give it that greenish bluish glow that you have going on here. And yes, it's really really cool. I love how it comes through the eyes. And this is where it really pops. I love how that looks. Like that looks
thank you.
amazing.
That's what I
I,
was going for. I was like, it has to have that aesthetic,
yeah,
just like the regular picture. Otherwise, I felt like it just wasn't bringing action
yeah.
unless it had that missing greenish glow.
Exactly, and it really looks apart. It really really does. It really came out really well. And then here's where you took it another step and you started making the hands for this thing. So I'm guessing these are fully articulated because I saw them in like, well, they're holding a figure in this shot here. But yeah, you have some of the other ones. Like what's this made out of? Because I can see some of the parts, but yeah, take us through the steps
Yeah.
for that.
You know the final. It was very hard to find like claw parts. What was
Yeah.
looking for to have that large thing that could really hold a 1/18 scale figure. So
Mm-hmm.
I found a final. You know those Final Faction uh,
The
cannons, the
yeah
ones that are
yeah.
on the robotic legs.
Oh yeah
Well,
yeah yeah.
I just popped the head off of it, and then I used the legs. I kind of trimmed the
Oh,
legs down, and
okay.
I just used them as the claws themselves. And then I built around that, and
That is
it,
so cool.
yeah, it turned out pretty good. The greenish thing is just for fancy tire caps, for
Oh,
where you
okay.
put
Yeah, yeah.
gear.
Where for the where you put the air in the, yeah. Okay, that is so cool because it reminds me. It gives me vibes of the Doc Ock from Spider-Man Two, from back in the day. That's what these remind me of. But that really cool concept. So here it is, and at work with all these figures. It's like, yeah, you're not stopping Brainiac. But then you took it a step further. You need to add more. So not only did you design this amazing ship, but every ship needs a pilot. So you decided to, hey, I'm making Brainiac. This is what his biped form is going to look like. So I can see the base figure that you went with here, which is the EM208, which is, like I said, from Haya Toys. You can still get it at a fairly decent price on Amazon. I think you could find it for like $35, and you get two figures in one, so you can't beat that price. So I could see where the designs you're going with. So you want that more menacing armored look, where Brainiac looks like no nonsense Brainiac, right? And you've definitely pulled that off with this design. And so I see you've done some sculpt work. I didn't know you did sculpting as well. Like, that's pretty intense. You designed the head yourself?
I actually just got it off eBay. I couldn't find a head that I was happy with, but I did see like a 1/12 scale
Mm-hmm.
head that I liked, and then I just kind of somehow found 1/18 scale Brainiac 3D printed
Nice.
head. So then I found it, but it wasn't painted, and I was like, oh man. Then I had to get out my magnifying glass because that was
That
a
was a
tough thing
chore.
to paint. Yeah,
But yeah, so that's why I thought you sculpted it, because of you did a great job with the paintwork, that I thought you actually sculpted it and painted it yourself. But yeah, that looks amazing, and it came out really well. And what did you use for the arms? Because are those the Doc Ock arms from the Epic Heroes line, or are
you
those
know,
just you made those?
it probably is. I honestly don't know which line it's from. I got it from a hobby shop that's around here. They have this little junk
Oh,
bin,
okay. Yeah.
and I tend to just love, just grabbing Greeblies, and I'm gonna use this for something. And it I got flat out lucky. I immediately thought of this piece, and I go, this is for Brainiac. This is
See, and
perfect.
that's usually how it works, right? When you go digging around those hobby bins, you just grab stuff. You don't even know if you're going to use it that day. It might be something you might use somewhere down the road. Who knows how? And then that one project comes along where it just fits perfectly. And here it is. Here's that project where it just fits perfectly. And yeah, it worked out really cool. He looks awesome. Like, and using that as your base bodies was a really good idea as well. That came out really cool. Yeah, I love that design. But then you also decide to do more. So not only did you design the ship and its pilot, you decided to add his seat. So every pilot needs this connection. So is this just the exterior of the ship? Is he just standing out below the cannons, or is that another addition
Yeah,
you added?
it's below the cannons. I like just every. I I'm not really a photographer per se, but it's
You fooled
fun,
me.
kind of like getting angles. Well, thank
Yeah,
you. I
that's a great shot. I love those shots. Really cool.
Yeah, it was fun. There's so many different angles on this piece that it is just in the lighting. It's fun. It's
Hmm.
fun to do these interesting shots with it. And yeah, it was great.
Yeah, you did a fantastic job with this, and this is like I think like one of the four bills that we're going to be looking at today. So this is like the most recent, one of the most recent ones, aside from the Nest that you've just recently finished. But here's another build that I really love what you did with this. So here's the Spider-Man. Is this like the Paw Patrol? Is that what that's from? I think that's what it
I
is.
it it it
It
could
might
very
be.
well be. Yeah,
So this is
yeah,
one of those hobby store finds, wasn't it? Or not hobby
yeah,
stores, but like those like thrifty store finds,
yeah,
wasn't it? Okay, so
yeah.
yeah.
And
So you don't know
it
necessarily where it's from, but you just know it's gonna make something awesome.
yeah. I almost didn't buy it, but I was like, well, I like the molding, and
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just gonna shove it in my trunk, and maybe I'll pull it out someday and do something. But
Now, did it have a canopy for it, or did it come without the canopy?
it did come with the canopy.
Oh, okay.
I just ended up pulling it off because anytime I try to cover the canopy up and spray paint, it just always gets on the canopy.
You're
So
like me. That happens to me every single time. No matter how
yeah,
much tape I apply, somehow, some way, some spray overflow gets on there. So yeah, I definitely feel you on that. So yeah, you did an awesome job. So here it is. What it originally looked like, and then you decide to spray paint. Just spray the paint the heck out of it, in complete chrome silver, and I love that you went with this aesthetic because obviously you're gonna weather it down to like diminish some of the luster. But yeah, I love that you went with this look. It almost looks like this ship's made out of completely out of Beskar, which is really cool.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
you can even use that, apply that as part of your lore. Maybe it's made out of Beskar, or some of it is armored with Beskar. Well, yeah, really cool. So you decide to apply some stickers and stuff like that to the interior of the ship, or were these already in there?
That is actually from the Blue Beetle again. I
Oh,
had,
okay.
yeah, I had some parts left over because
Hmm.
from the
The
other build.
ship, yeah.
So, and these were good for 118, and then I just kind of took the monitors and I kind of had to reattach them and put them in an area that made sense.
That is really cool. So you cut all that up, and I actually thought, to be honest with you, I actually thought you just put stickers on there, but you actually took the interior mold and you cut it up to fit inside this. So did you have to like cut out? So you just cut out the monitors, or did you have to cut out the interior of the Spider-Man ship as well?
I had the Dremel, yeah. Without Dremel tool is one of my favorite tools.
Yep.
I had to cut it out and then monkey around with it to get it so that seating could fit,
Yeah.
yeah, perfectly, which was a bit
That's
of a
insane. Yeah, and you did a great job because I totally thought that that was like part of the ship itself, and all you did was just added stickers. But no, you took it the next step and you actually built out the cockpit, and it came out really good. So it definitely has that completed look. And I love how this is separated from the rear part of the ship because that's what you've decided to build out on. So you decide to add these other aspects to the back of the ship to give it the doors, which is really cool. What are those built out of?
uh, the so what I did is that when I originally bought this, I didn't know that the back portion of it dropped down,
Yeah,
and so I knew I got excited because I knew I could just gut the inside and then
yeah,
just make it like a cargo hold. So I took an electrical box and I slid it right in, and it fit perfectly. And
nice.
then at the back, I took the Dremel and then
Hmm.
I cut it out, and then I built out this the back portion just with
Yeah.
polystyrene.
Oh, okay. So that's just built out of styrene. Okay, cool. And then you just obviously you painted everything to give it a separate match. I see you've added some additional greeblies on top of the polystyrene just to tie it into the rest of the ship, which is really cool. I really love the that it has that cargo hold, but I love the other stuff that you've done with that cargo hold. So here's some of the things that you've done. So obviously here's some other angles of the that little addition that you add to the back of the ship, and I love again. Is that the pancake thing I see again?
Yes, yes, I love I love that stuff.
But that's how
Yeah,
awesome it is, right?
yeah.
That's what makes it so awesome. I see it at the top on the top end of the ship, but I also see that on the is that on the ramp? No, that's not on what's on the ramp. No,
Well, actually, it's
no.
that's just apart from the original molding. But the
Yeah,
final product, you're probably thinking of in the back of your mind. The final product is the pancake, because I wanted to stabilize the back ramp
yeah.
because the bottom portion that's actually from the original molding. I wanted to use the existing hinge itself.
Oh, I
For,
see. Okay, you just want to kind of extend out that the back landing ramp. So that's
uh,
okay. So that's where I see the pancake stuff. It's on the outside of it, on the back, on the outside back end. I could see you've used it on the door
yes,
part of
yeah,
it. Okay. But it looks really cool. Again, I'm not making fun at all. I love that you're using that because every one of us finds that one thing that's just perfect that we like to use in everything because it ties in with everything and it kind of ties everything together, right? Which is really cool. I love that you've been using that on there. So here's another angle of that, and I love this shot too because of the fact that you can see right into the back end of the ship, which is that's the part that you gemeled out, right? It was this back end portion, right?
yeah. That's the electrical box itself. So I just gutted the inside of the ship, and then just that electrical box fit in like a glove in there, and
That's
then I just
awesome.
minimally just kind of glued it in place. So Yeah.
That and then, like it even runs flush with the back end of the ship, which is so cool. Came out so good. So here's another angle of it. So here's now you can better see that it's an electrical box. From that other angle, you couldn't quite see it, but that, like, you're right, it just fits in there perfectly. And I love that you've taken it a step further. So this almost looks like light, like you've added lighting to it, but it's just the light coming through from the top, right?
Yeah, the molding's really fun. I didn't realize how unique it was, where the top opens up, and
Yeah.
then you had the back where you can open it up. So it's a really versatile design.
Hmm.
So
So yeah, here's another angle of it as well. But yeah, really cool. And then you've decided to add stuff to the interior of it. So you added the seat, you added the Star Trek L cars. I see you added that as like a panel inside the back end of this vehicle. So you could see it's in this shot here. So here it is here. Really cool though. It just
yeah,
fits in perfectly.
thank you. I plan to add one more seat and kind of kit it out a little bit more, uh,
Hmm.
so I can at least have at least two guys back there. It would have
Yeah.
been nice to have more, but I'll just say it's like a scout ship, a
Yeah,
scout
like
drop.
realistically, to make sure that everyone can actually maneuver around each other in there. Yeah, realistically, one more seat would be perfect for that. Then you also have space for some weaponry or some like equipment. It could be like you said, the initial recon team, where the pilot and co-pilot, and these two guys make up a small team of
Yeah,
infiltrators, right? So they're all commandos. So any one of those guys could either interchange their roles. Like either one of them could be a pilot or something. Could be one
there
of
you
those
go.
kind of teams. But that's a really cool concept. I really love the design. I really love the ideas that you come up with by adding other additional Greeblies. And like me, you don't care when it comes to your world building. You don't care where you get your ideas from. Using L cars from Star Trek, using ships from Marvel, it doesn't matter. It just all ties in together in your world building, and that's what I love. So here's another addition where you start adding some other Greeblies, and you're also starting to do some of the weathering, I'm guessing. So this is where is that like hose parts or are those caps at the very end that you use for the thrusters?
It's a PVC piping. I forget specifically what you
Right.
call it, but I've always thought it looked like back of a thruster.
Hmm.
So,
And then what
so
did you put on the tip of it?
the thing that's inside of it,
Yeah.
that's actually just some of those applesauce.
That's what it is. I couldn't remember where I seen. I'm like, why does that look so familiar? Anyone who has kids have seen those packages. They usually come in like green or red and stuff like that. But yeah, that's really cool. You added it with the coloring, and it gives it more of that thruster feel to it, that metallic look to it. Which really cool. I like that you added that other. Was that back fin that's at the top of the ship? Was that already part of the Spider-Man ship? I can't remember if I saw it on there, or did you add that?
It was part of it. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay, so it was part of it. But yeah, really cool. The thrusters really gives it more of a realistic feel and a little bit less of that toy feel. I found when you added those on there. So then you added the cannons on the winglets as well, which was really cool because it didn't have any of those. And what did you use for those?
uh, the true, I think it's called. It's like those True Sentinel or
Oh,
something
it's
like
like
that.
one of those like army, those like no name kind of army lines,
Yeah, and
kind of
it's like
thing.
the little mech suits.
Yeah, yeah,
Some
yeah,
they used to be $5. They're more, but they
yeah.
have this ridiculously over the top gun you're supposed to mount on the mech suit. That's too
Right.
big.
So
So
you
I
chopped
just
them up.
yeah. So I was like, I'll use this for a ship, and I had a
And
bunch
that
of them.
looks really cool. So yeah, it really fits in with the look of the ship. It makes it again. It gives it more of a ship feel and less of a toy feel. So here you can kind of see some of the sharper look at those cannons that you've added. You're doing some of the weathering as well by adding it looks like a wash to everything because it's like taking off some of the luster, which is good, and gives it more of that worn look. But yeah, I really love this design. That's such an awesome ship to use for it because it definitely makes a really good like recon ship, like small infiltration recon ship. So yeah, here's some more of the weathering as well. So it's bringing up some of the more of the detail as well. Like here you can see them more clearly. But yeah, this is really came out really nice. You did an awesome job. And here's another one of your more recent builds. It's really cool, very simple build. So this is we're looking at the bottom of an alarm clock, right?
Yeah, it would be the top top portion. Actually,
Oh,
the
okay.
top
So this will be
portion
the
of the
top of it. Okay.
yeah. That middle part is the speaker,
Mm-hmm.
but I like just tearing apart electronics usually to get the little motherboards in it because I
Yeah.
like using those for builds. But when I tore this apart and I kind of put it on its end like that, I'm like, this looks like a workstation. So then I started
Yeah.
messing.
So you started messing around with it. You started adding additions to it. What is that piece? Looks like a piece of
The
wood or something.
the red part, that's just the initial readout. That's
Okay.
the red readout screen, and
Oh, that's
I just sanded it. Yeah,
that is so cool. I did not even think of that. So that's what you would normally see the time on. That is
yeah.
so cool. So then you put it up here against a figure to see if it matches up. And like you were right, you were spot on. It's at the perfect height where you could use this as a workbench. So you added work tools and you made it into a workbench. You gave it just a silver coat of paint. It looks like, and you added. Are those glued on, or you just placed them on there for the shot?
I just placed them on there just for the shot.
Just for aesthetic.
Yeah.
And you say you're not a photographer. Look at you setting up your shots. Well, yeah, that looks really cool. Here's another angle of it as well. Really awesome stuff. Again, very simple things. So this is one of the reasons why I really wanted you on the show because that's kind of the stuff that we focus on. Is like people that are world building and things like that, or people who are getting into it and don't necessarily have a lot of money or want to get into like spending a lot of money. Here's some ways around a lot of those things where you can make your own awesome things that Hasbro and those toy lines haven't even thought of making. So here you go. He's built this out of an alarm clock. So all those times you look at that alarm clock, you say, "Why do I have this? I don't need this. I have my phone." Well, here you go. Here's a
Yeah,
project for you.
Goodwill or Salvation Army, you go in there and they have electronics for dirt cheap, and you
There you
can just
go.
buy those. You can take them apart. You'd be surprised at the internal innards and the structure. There's all kinds of sci-fi things in there.
Absolutely. So yeah, this came out really good. Here's another better angle with Vader in the background as well. But I like that you kept the speaker in there. It kind of adds to the look. You just weathered it a little bit, and there you go. It adds to that sci-fi look to it, and it came out really, really good. I love that.
It actually has a little magnet in it from the speaker, and then you can like
Oh
stick
yeah, that's right.
watches or stuff like that on it, which was kind of cool. I didn't do it. I don't think I did it in the photo,
No,
but
you didn't do any of the shots, but yeah, that's a great idea. You can add other stuff to it as well. And then here's another one of your projects where you took a bunch of Greeblies, and this is tying into some of your background hobby, which was aquariums. 'Cause that's one of the hobbies I used to have growing up with my dad. He used to have like this. We had this massive fish tank between our dining room and our living room, so it kind of divided the two rooms almost like a wall, a half wall. And so we had a really huge aquarium. So after he passed and we stopped, like we moved from there, we didn't have that tank anymore. We still had a lot of the parts, and I still have a lot of parts that I want to use. But yeah, you get so many little parts in there that you can use for builds. And so here you're building a moisture evaporator. And this is like I guess the industry sized ones. These are like the no nonsense kind. So this is really cool. What did you use for this?
that's just one of those valves. Is the base
Mm-hmm.
for ball valves that you use
Oh,
for PVC piping, and
okay.
then on the side of it, I just put a little motherboard there, and
Yeah.
then the thing on top is actually from a small vacuum cleaner. It's actually the thing that picks up the dirt.
Oh, okay.
But
That's cool.
sometimes I just get inspiration. I saw it, then I immediately thought, this takes moisture out of the air. I got to make something that takes moisture out of the air. How they get water,
It kind
and
of
then
does have that feel because the smaller moisture evaporators has those little things that would turn in the breeze or in the air, right? And that's what those those spindly things along the top kind of remind me of. It kind of reminds me of those things that if there was like a little bit of gust of air that they would spin, and because there's so many of them, it would produce a lot of moisture. I guess this is my head canon. But and then what
Yeah.
did you use for the water?
The water, I got kind of creative. I use hot glue, and then I just made waves in it. I
Uh
kind of
huh.
just when it was drying, I just kind of
Yeah.
took the gun itself and made some waves, and then I did a base coat of blue coloring with it, and then I just white airbrushed it.
Nice.
Then it just came out that I think it was quite effective to make it
Yeah,
look
it
like.
looks really good. Actually, it looks like there's water in there.
Yeah,
That came out really really good. So here's some other angles of it. You added some tubings to it as well. You added the motherboard as you or parts of the motherboards on there as well to give it like a panel, a control panel. Very cool. Here's another angle of it as well. There he is using the panel. This is one of this build we've actually featured in one of our weekly Greeblies. I remember I believe I had reached out to you and said, "Oh yeah, we're going to use this in our show," and it was really cool. So here's another awesome build. So here's one of your smaller vehicle builds. So here's one of the non-head mind-blowing explosion. Holy cow! This guy made this massive vehicle out of all this stuff. Here's a smaller vehicle, and what's this one made out of?
that one I wanted to make a hover bike, so I went to my go-to specialty hobby shop,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a regular 118 scale bike, but then I
Yeah,
reached into his like my favorite Greeblies bin, like $3 bin,
yeah,
and then I got those thrusters that are there
yeah,
on the side. They were part of some smaller vehicle, and then I just broke them in half. That way I could use it on
yeah. On
either
either
side.
side, yeah,
And then I tried to go for more. I was kind of trying to think a practical real world where you would want this hover bike to be stabilized, so kind
yeah,
of like one of those motor trikes, I think they're called.
yeah.
So I wanted the front to be stabilized, so that's why I went with two in the front and then just
Nice.
one in the back.
This actually reminded me when I first saw this design and I saw the two little things at the front, the two little hover thrusters at the front. It reminded me of this vehicle from Mask, from back in the day. There was a show called Mask, and some of the later line vehicles. There's a motorcycle where the wheels would split in half, and it would unfold, and it would look just like the front of this vehicle.
Mm,
So that it would look like that at the front and the back, but this is so cool because you're right. Like I love the fact that you've added some world plausibility to your thought process when it comes to putting this together. Well, it has to be able to stay stable in the air, so it needs to have bouncing thrusters, which is what these stabilizing thrusters would be, which is really cool. And then it's just a matter of like tweaking around with it, adding some additional seating. I see you've made the seat a little bit more robust, and then adding some color to it. But this is really cool, man.
thank you. Yeah. And
Really
then
awesome
there's
design.
applesauce tops right there. I love using those for like thrusters or
Those are the
hover.
best though. That's
Yeah.
exactly what they look like. Unfortunately, I don't have any small children anymore, so it looks weird when a grown man goes and starts buying all those apples. Why? Who are all these for? Oh, they're for me. I just want them for the caps. Leave me alone. But yeah, this came out really good. So here's with the figure on it. Very cool little speeder bike. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
that's
that.
fun to me.
And then here it is with additional metallic work on it. And so you've added some additional parts to the back end. I see it's a lot longer now, but it looks really cool.
Yeah, that was a part. I can't. That was originally part of the small vehicle that I pulled apart to get the side thrusters. That
Right.
was actually like the back part was the base of that small thruster vehicle. But I found out that I could attach it to the back of the bike where the back wheel used to be, and then it articulates. I'm like,
Yeah.
like then I could use that for the back thruster to kind of where it comes
Yeah.
down when it's landing, but then when it wants to go forward, it kind of can come up
Flips
that
up.
way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that
here
became
it
a fun
is. Yeah,
portion of it.
that's really cool, man. But yeah, the whole premise, the whole design, again, just a lot of one of the things that I love about your vehicles, they all use Greeblies, and it's just full
Mhm.
of Greeblies, and you only notice them when somebody points them out. Otherwise, you don't notice them because they fit right into the build. Like with a lot of these here, just I can see like I think I see wire caps on there on top of those thrusters. I can't tell, but it just looks
That's
really
actually
cool.
at my workplace. There's a lot of like you could say medical waste, just little caps here or
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
That,
Oh my goodness. Anytime I go to my doctor's appointments at the hospital, I always look for that stuff. Or I ask like one of the nurses, or the one that I normally see when I go to my appointments. I'm like, hey, if you see like any of like these caps or like the IV caps, any of those things, can you keep some of those like in a small container for me? And every time I go on my visits, because I go like every few months, right? And every time I
Mhm.
go on my visits, she says, oh yeah, I have something for you. And then she brings me this small container full of like a lot of those little caps. She even sometimes, those little caps that they use for the ears. Like she doesn't give me the used ones. She goes, "Oh, I grabbed a few of these here," and she throws
Right.
throws in like those little air cap things. Not the air caps, but the little plugs they use on the light itself to look in someone's ear. Like those little
Oh, okay. The
things. Yeah.
cones.
So she
Yeah.
gives me those cones, and then do not use ones. I just want to make sure I preface that it's not the used ones.
Right.
So yeah, definitely really cool stuff. Hey, look who's here. Good to see you, man. Welcome, welcome.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you here. But yeah, this looks really cool. Like a really cool design, and again, a really small vehicle. Often, most of your builds are massive ones. Speaking of which, here's the bus. So this is a really cool build, and I love the idea of this. Again, so when you're building some of these, I'm going to show before I get into the next shots, kind of why I'm going here with this first. When you're building these, or when you see these toys, do you see? Oh, I see that little caterpillar vehicle, like the little caterpillar the that rounded treaded vehicle. When you see that, do you see? Oh, I can shove another vehicle in the front of this and make another vehicle out of this. Is that like your initial thought, or is it more like you see that vehicle, then you see that other toy, and you're like, and then that's when you get the idea, or when you
I
initially
think that
see it, you get the idea?
sometimes I get specific ideas and then boom, it comes to me. And other times I'm like, I just know I have a gut feeling I can use
Right,
it in a later build. And when I had gotten that home, I was like, this front part isn't working. I was like, it just
right.
looks very vanilla, boring. And I was like, man, you know what? I was
It
kind of
needs
thinking like,
something. What does it
yeah,
need? It needs a crashed helicopter into the front of this vehicle. And
yeah,
and then
yeah.
boom, there it is.
Yeah, and my son, at the time he was young. He's older. He's like a teenager, but he still has all these toys he had as,
Right.
young kid, and they're like trashed, but they're still around. And I'm like,
And
it's
they're
like
still
his treasure trove.
usable.
Yeah. So
And
I was
so
like,
this is how you use them.
yeah,
Here's how we use your old toys, son. Boom! We cut it open and we shove a helicopter in it. But yeah,
yeah.
again, I never would think of doing that. But then I love how that's the initial. When you initially look at it, you can't see the end result, but it's just a starting point. And I love this is one of the reasons why I like focusing on this part of the show is the process of your build, because the fact that when you initially see something that you post on Instagram, you see everyone sees the end results and like, oh, that's awesome. But how did he get there? And this is how you do it. And again, like look at the front part of the cockpit of the vehicle of the helicopter. You added another piece right on top, right? Doesn't matter. I'm gonna shove it right here, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
glue it right on top of the front of the helicopter. So it looks like you cut off part of the helicopter canopy, and then you added some other greebly here. Was that just to fit the seats in, or was that just a console you wanted to use?
I think I might have tore the console out that was initially because this thing was made for like smaller fares, not
Yeah.
118. So I took the
Oh, okay.
console itself that was further down in the chopper, and I just cut it out to make uh, to make room for the feet
Okay.
of the 118 scale figure. But I still wanted that. I still wanted that readout, that monitor. So then I had to put it somewhere. So I just put it on top of the vehicle and wrapped wrapped around it.
And
Yeah.
here's what you did. So then you took it a step further and like, okay, I have the console there, but now it just looks unsightly like this. So let's
hmm
do something about it. So what did you add here? I can't see what it is that you've done here, but I just know it works.
I love that stuff. It's actually, I don't know if you have like Dollar Trees
Yeah,
at all. Well, there's something. Uh, it's called like cutting board, like vegetable
yeah,
cutting
yeah.
boards, mats, and I would never use them on my
Oh,
vegetables, but
okay.
I love the fact that they're clear, so you
Yeah,
can. So I was a, and when you have these weird angles and stuff like that.
yeah.
It's just you can wrap it. I wrapped it around the chopper, and then you can just take a permanent marker and you can literally put where you want your cut lines to be because it's clear.
That is so cool. So then, but it's still soft enough that it's pliable enough that you can kind of bend it into the shape that you want. So I'm guessing too, if you were to heat it up, it'd be even easier to mess around with it. So yeah, you've cut it up here, so where you've added it to the console. And what's that around there? Is that just putty that you put around the nose there?
That's just wiring. I needed because
Oh, okay.
just to cover. I just wanted something to kind of cover the
The gap that was there.
blue marks. Yeah, the
Yeah.
gap too. Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay,
the
that's
same with
cool. I actually thought that was like putty that you did such a great job with applying it that it came out beaded like that. But that looks really cool. So it hides that gap and it kind of finishes off the nose of the vehicle, which kind of gives it that old school look, is which is I kind of like about that helicopter. And what's that thing that you use? Are those goggles? Like what are those they use for the windshield?
That's another go-to thing. I have sleep apnea, and the
Mm-hmm.
mask itself is clear that fits
Oh,
over your
okay.
face, and
Yeah.
it typically has silicone that forms it forms like a airtight seal. Well,
Right.
you've got to change those things every several months. So what I like to do I just keep the old ones. I cut off the silicone, and
Yeah.
it just makes this nice,
Like nice
smooth.
mold, yeah. So it actually ties into the cut that you finished there. That's really cool because that's what I have diabetes. So a lot of the things that I have I reuse, like the caps that the pen filled needles come in.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
use the caps for all those. After I dispose of the needles, I have the actual caps that the needles sit in. Like they're kind of translucent. So if you put lights in those, they make like little table centerpieces. Really awesome stuff. So yeah, use
Great
the
learning
stuff that
thing.
you
A lot of
have.
people do that too. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like some of the tubes that I have that back in the day, the pen fills didn't come in disposable pens, so you actually had to fill it up with little tubes, little glass tubes. So I actually have some of those left over. So I use those as like tubes for like tube canisters, like air canisters and stuff like that. So yeah, use the stuff that you have around you. And that's what I love about your builds is that you use anything that you can find as long as you can tie it in some way. You tie it in. So I see you close the back end here of the ship, so it looks like you've like sanded down and puttied the side of the vehicle here to give it just a one singular opening. Are you still there? Oh, did I lose you? Hold on. I don't know what happened there. You got booted off. That's
Oh,
weird. You got booted off the stage for some reason. So yeah, I was asking if
oh, I
you.
heard that.
Oh,
Yeah.
you heard. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. I just took that as polystyrene that
Mm-hmm.
I used, and I just tried to make it look kind of aesthetically pleasing and filled in the gaps, and then I just sanded it. Yeah, and then just tried to merge the two vehicles together to make sense.
Right. Okay. Well, unfortunately, Bjorn had to step out, so hopefully you can catch the replay. Oh, I see we have another guest on here. I know it's really late as well. Look who we have here. We got Michael Hefner in the house. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, so this is an awesome build here. So I see you added the polystyrene to the build, just to give it, like you said, that polished look to it. So here's some other angles of it as well. And yeah, you did such an amazing job with this build. So you kind of made the side doors kind of like the weapon mount doors, where the weapon pilots or operators would sit, to add some defense to the helicopter or vehicle as it's flying in. And I see you've added some other Greeblies. What's that white thing on the side there?
That is actually part of the CPAP mass itself.
Oh, okay.
It just it has like magnets in it, and it's used to it just helps with keep the mask on your face. And I just thought it would be neat to I don't know what you call it. It just looked cool on
Right.
this.
But yeah, it does. It looks really cool. Sometimes that's all it takes, just the right Greeblies. And I see that the vehicle has a support vehicle on the top of it. So that's from the GI Joe. What was that name of the tank?
Havoc.
The Havoc. I don't know why, but I have been getting brain farts a lot. So I guess it's part of getting old. You forget the
Yeah.
simple things that you've had all the time. Because I actually had the bottom end of that Havoc. I found it at a thrift store. Yeah, I found it at a thrift store. And it was missing all the parts, but I broke it apart and started using all of its parts to make other vehicles out of them. And the one thing it was missing was that hover vehicle. And I like how you've used it here. You've tied it in well to this vehicle. So here it is with tying everything together with a unique paint job. So you have that military feel to it. So here's some other angles of it. Very cool. Again, the paint is usually what ties everything together, brings the whole vehicle together.
Yeah, I know the human brain that often processes things in just like overall patterns.
Mm-hmm.
I think it doesn't make sense. It's kind of like the cherry on top when you add the paint scheme because it brings it all together, and then
Exactly.
it makes sense for the brain. They go, "Oh, that makes sense." No.
Exactly. For somehow it just works because everything's painted the same color, so it just ties it all together. But then also you've molded the parts together as well, so that also just ties in the whole vehicle, makes it as one. So it's really cool. Here's some other angles of it, and this is a vehicle that you've more recently finished. So here's some other angles of it. This is a more recent pictures of this vehicle. Very cool. So I like the coloring that you've done on here and the weathering that you've done on it. So it looks like this thing's been around. It's
Oh,
been
yeah.
around in the muck and the dirt and stuff just to go and on missions. Really cool. I love the color that you went with this. Kind of like that desert kind of like greenish color. Very cool. So here's some other angles. So that back end can be used as like a science station or something like that, right?
Yeah, and actually for the back end, what I did, the concept of the bus is that it's like this. It transports workers and it protects them from giant bugs that are
Right.
on the planet, and but it carries them from workstation to workstation because I've got like a big backstory. There's areas where they mine like bug ooze. It's like petroleum for them. They use that
Yeah.
for power, and so I that's called the bus just because it's a it's this big. It has this yellowish color
Yeah.
to it, and it's a tank. And then in the back there, you can see I took pillboxes,
Nice. Yeah.
and then you can store stuff in there, so you can sit on top of it, and all those open individually, and you can put all the Greeblies you want into it.
That's so cool.
So I thought
Yeah.
it would make sense as a work bus, like
Yeah. So transport vehicle from site to site. That's really cool. Get on the bus, Gus.
right.
But that's yeah, really cool design. And again, I love the fact that you combine so many different toys to make one unique vehicle. That's why I was wondering, like when you're designing those, like do you look at that toy and be like, you know what, that looks good, but if I broke the front off and smashed in a helicopter, and that would make a better vehicle. And that's how I love that with what you've done here. So let's take this is the final one we're gonna go through here. Now this thing is friggin' massive. This is like for me the pièce de résistance as to one of my favorite builds of yours because it's so massive. Unfortunately, I forgot to upload the little video that you accompanied with it. But if you go and check out his Instagram page, you'll see all the finished shots here of this vehicle and the lighting, and it's so awesome. So what did you use as the base build? What toy is that? Or is that another one of your thrift store finds?
I believe it's like a Fisher Price
Mm-hmm.
toy. It might even be a Imaginext.
Right, but it's one of those like kitty toy lines.
Yeah, yeah. It was just like a some kind of kitty toy line fishing vessel. I got at
But
Goodwill.
I was going to say it's a sci-fi fishing vessel because just the design itself, it to me, it looks like a boat, but it looks like it could also like be like a hoverboat. I don't know if you've seen the Thundercats, the 2011 Thundercats, which was the more recent one. That cartoon had a ship that was like a hover ship, so it actually hovered over the sand dunes, and it kind of reminds me of this vehicle here because it looked like a sailing ship, but it also looked like a hover ship, and this kind of has that aesthetic, and maybe that's what caught your eye because that front end looks so sci-fi.
Oh, that the front end. That's actually from the Guardians of the Galaxy ship.
Oh, okay. I thought it looked really. I'm like, that doesn't look like a boat. Because when I was looking, I'm like, that is that how you found it? But no, you added that. Okay, even better.
Yeah.
So that's how you got that sci-fi look. So you added that there from the Galaxy. So this is that the Galaxy of the Galaxy ship that you like split in half.
Yeah, that's like my go-to, and I bought even more of those than I did with the Blue Beetle. I think I probably bought like something like 5 or 6 of them,
Nice,
and I
nice.
just love the futuristic look of the molding. And
Yeah.
I hacked the heck out of that ship, and I just started stacking it and molding it into my airship. Then.
So yeah, this is like insane. Like I can't believe like so many different vehicles here. I see a GI Joe vehicle part, like you said, the Guardians of the Galaxy part in there. I see like is that another GI Joe vehicle in there?
Yeah, I forget the
I see
green.
Star Wars.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I forget the name of the green one, but initially, yeah, that was going to be the cockpit. But
Yeah.
overall, the feel it didn't feel right. It was too square, and
Yeah.
I wanted something that was more aerodynamic. And then I just kept going back to man, if I had a Millennium Falcon cockpit
Yeah.
cover, that would work perfectly.
So then, yeah, this became now just the middle portion of the ship now. So we're only halfway up the ship as we go along in this build. So here you've added. So this is the now cockpit of the ship.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so that's really cool. We're gonna take a look inside there in a second, but I love that you went with you've added that Star Wars cockpit canopy on there because that kind of really adds to the look of the ship, right? It really gives it that air vehicle, and anyone who's seen Star Wars knows that that's a cockpit ship, right? So definitely, definitely love that. And yeah, I definitely agree with you, Nebula, that your builds are absolutely amazing. So Nebula's Nexus says your builds are absolutely amazing. I definitely agree with you, man. Oh, I see we have another guest here. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Another guest on there, and he loves that. He loves the bike that you designed as well. So yeah, like I'm not the only one who loves your stuff. So obviously you have a following now. But this vehicle again is like I said, one of my favorite ones because it's so massive. So here's some other angles of the cockpit, and let's take a. So you said the cockpit wasn't enough, so let's add more. We need more. So let's build up and let's build more. So you built up and you added this whole other deck on top of the cockpit. And so I see that you moved the original cockpit, you moved it now to the back of the vehicle. So now that I guess is like a weapon platform.
Yeah, I would like it was kind of like a weapon platform, but then it was more like maybe like a kind of like separate hub to
Yeah,
kind of monitor the other machines and stuff like that at the back
right.
of the boat that are used to because this is I mean into like overall idea was a whaling vessel like
Yeah, I saw that.
these predatory whales that you got to catch that are very dangerous. So I thought, yeah, there probably needs to be a back portion, like separate control room whose
Yeah, like this
primary
and
focus
the
is that.
staging area and all that stuff where they would monitor all the equipment used to hunt these things. Yeah, so that's a really cool concept. So here's the cockpit without the nose part there, the canopy in place. So you can see the guys in there on the left. Really cool. I just love so how you've used so many different vehicles, and then obviously now you're just like fitting all the pieces together. But eventually you're gonna tie them all in with the same color. So here's a side portion. So here's some gun mounts to help protect the vehicle. Because you said this is a predatory whale, so I would imagine there's other predators that they have to keep an eye out for as well. You can
Yeah,
see,
and it's and with this predatory whale, I just call it. I think I called it a diamond or diamond, like that signified like a demon,
yeah,
demon fish, demon whale.
nice,
But this thing can fly temporarily. It can
right,
like a flying fish. It can go up in the air and then come back down. So my thought was is that you need these weapons to defend yourself, but you can also hamper them and shoot them out of the
nice.
sky to take them down and harvest them.
So then you've taken this a step further. So now that you've built up, you're like, okay, enough with the building up. Let's build out. So you started adding these hover, looks like I'm guessing hover maneuvering thrusters on there, and then you're going to take it another step further from that. But I love where you're going with this. So now here's another angle of that. So now you can see that you've added the crane on there. So that's how they get the wheel onto the ship, so they can cut it up and use it up for parts and what they need it for, all its resources. So that looks really cool. But here's where here's another shot. So you really had to step back to get the whole thing in frame because this thing is really big. And just to give you guys an idea of how massive this thing is, look at the Castle Grayskull beside it. It towers over Castle Grayskull. It makes Castle Grayskull look like a little dolly house. So yeah, really cool. I love how tall this is, and I love that it actually has a function. And I love that all your vehicles really tie into your world building, which is really awesome. Because I'd really love to have you back on the show when we just talk about world building, and I'd love to hear about the lore of your station because that sounds like really amazing stuff. So here's another angle of it. So I see you've added some more. So you've added that little platform there, a little netting platform. That's Segula, I forget her name is. That Jedi, the blue Twi'lek Jedi, I forget her name.
Oh, I can't remember either.
Aguya, Sagula, whatever. So you guys who know who I'm talking about, I know I'm sure someone in the chat will correct me on that. You have her sitting on that netted platform there. Here's another angle of it as well. So that's really cool. And what I like is by just adding that part to it, you kind of give it more of that aquatic feel to it. So I can kind of see this flying over, like just hovering over an ocean or something as it's going hunting, as it's going out fishing. And I could completely see this on a planet. And I could see like smoke, black smoke sputtering out of it as it's moving around, and it's like moving over the water. So I could I totally picture it. I completely hear this, like the marine sounds, and I hear everything. You totally sucked me in with this vehicle when I first saw it. And so here's some other angles of it. But this is when you start tying things together. This is a really great shot because again, it shows us how big it is, not only height wise, but length wise, and it's width wise. It's pretty wide as well. But it's really long, a long vessel as well. At least 6 or 7 figures standing shoulder to shoulder across, maybe even longer than that. But really, really cool concept. And so yeah, here's another angle. So you added some more of those hover thruster things to it.
Yeah, I call it like a mag lift. So,
Yeah, that's kind of more how I picture it.
yeah.
Yeah. But really, really cool. And you've added lighting to it. But before we get to that, this is when you start tying everything together by adding the color. So once you added that unification with the paint, it really starts to tie it up. So it looks a lot less like a bunch of toys stacked together and now one functional vehicle. So yeah, see, just by having that one color, it just gives it more of a unique look, like a large vehicle. Very cool. Oh, so here it is indoors. And then this is when you start adding. Is it? Yeah. So you again just showing other angles of it, adding a few. It looks like a few other Greeblies were added.
Yeah, I got back thrusters there just for forward momentum, so the mag lift
Yeah.
lifts it up.
Very
But the
cool.
back thrusters are for forward thrust, and that back area is like this, that actually is part of the original molding. It opens up into cargo bay door where
Yeah.
you can put the whale parts, but then comes down on the deck, and then that's where I'd picture they would. I still got to add a section there in the back, but where they start cutting the whale up, and then they harvest it and start putting it in the back portion and throw it into that cargo bay holding.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
that's really cool. So yeah, Ayla Sakura is the name of that Jedi. So thank you, Bjorn. He's like our information guru. Whenever we need to know anything about anything, he knows it, and he usually adds it to the show. Look who's here. We have Triple D Outpost is here. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, sir. Welcome, welcome. But yeah, so this is like again such a massive build, and I love the fact that even after you've built it up this much, you still felt like, you know what, I still need to add more things. So it's just not enough. It doesn't. It needs more. It needs more functionality, more functions to add to this. So here it is. So now you've decided to take it another step and add some other colors to it. But these are special colors. These aren't just your average colors, because these are colors that. Oh, sorry. Before I get to that next shot. Here's when you start adding the lights. So this is where you're adding the lights to the bottom portion of those mag lift thrusters. So are you adding these underneath or within them?
Say again, sorry.
Those lights that you've added there, are you adding them within the circle or underneath them?
I was just kind of like prepping it, kind of messing around with it to see where it was at. My final thing is I wanted them to be circular and go in and be inside of the ring itself.
Yeah. Okay.
So I had to figure out how in the heck I was going to do that. And I bought a bunch of hair. Are they called hair berets? They're like wire. Yeah. And then I was able to stick them into the ring itself, and then I was able to get that spiraling effect.
Nice.
And those get hot at times, so that's a secondary function too. So that way they're not gonna like
heat up too much.
Heat up too much. It'll absorb the heat.
But yeah, it looks really cool. That lighting really adds to it. Adding this type of painting that you've added to it. So yeah, here's where you start adding the other color paint. But this paint is unique because it works well with black light, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here's some other angles of it. Go ahead.
About halfway through, I thought, who would be on this fishing vessel? Who would be crazy enough to harvest these these demon fish whales?
Yeah.
And then I thought dreadnoughts.
Yep. And that's what I thought was awesome. I loved, and when you went with these colors too, I'm like, those look like dreadnought. Oh my goodness, this is a dreadnought ship. So that's really awesome. And I know you did say that in the comments as well in our conversation. But yeah, this is perfect. It's definitely the vehicle that they would have. And what I love about it is like how awesome it looks in black light. Like that shot looks so friggin' awesome. So yeah, here's another angle of it. But yeah, that they've done a lot of work. I see there. But yeah, such awesome stuff. So here's some other shots of the cockpit. So here's a better angle of it. So this is after it's been painted. So the cockpit has the two-tone with the silver that you initially had, and then you painted over the skin of it.
Yeah, I put some woodwork in there. So that's just for like doll houses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where wood flooring, like stained. I wanted to give it a look of more of like an old school ship. So
yeah, walk the plank.
Yes.
But yeah, it looks really good. Like I love how cobbled together it looks like a dreadnought vehicle would be, because that totally looks like they would totally build something like this. Like they take some of the best parts of the vehicle that they like, and they use it in their own vehicle that they put together. So yeah, this is so cool and so massive. They must do really well. But yeah, that brings us to the end of the shots that we have for today. Man, we definitely need to have you back on the show because that was just amazing. First of all, Again, go and check out last week's WMC on Radtoid Galaxy's channel, so you can go and see the tour of the station that you see behind him. Today, we mainly focus on the builds that he's had throughout his station, and we actually got to see the BTS version of those. So we got to see behind the scenes on how he put some of these awesome builds together. You've done a fantastic job, brother. I love the fact that you use a little bit of everything. But what's even the best part about this, and this is how we should all go into it, is you use it as a meditative process. So you use it as a way to unwind and be a little bit more immersive in your hobby, which is really cool to see as well. And so we definitely have to have you back on so that we can talk about the world building, so we can talk about the lore aspect of your stories. I definitely want to have I'm bringing on people right now who've actually have some world building I know behind them, and they built their worlds. So I'm going to have everyone back and talk about their world building. This is after I do my Titans of the Universe tournament in October. But yeah, definitely something to look forward to. Electric Blue, is there anything that you have in the works coming up soon?
I think pretty much just the nest I'm working on, and then I'm just going to focus on trying to finish up some builds
Okay.
that I have. I have a tendency to be a little bit ADD and then just kind of move around with builds, but nothing major right now. Just trying to probably take 6 months to finish some stuff up, but you never know. You never know.
Whatever, you never know what might come across. You might come across and decide to let that take over your distraction for that day. But yeah, I love to see your builds, and I love the fact that you add the electronics aspect to it. And of course, your McDonald's pancake tin. So definitely, folks, when you go out to McDonald's, remember, if you're going out for breakfast at McDonald's, keep those pancake tins, because you've seen how good they look, and they have that such a great sci-fi look. Once you add a little bit of coat of paint onto them and add some weathering to it, it can really pop. So definitely consider those. I know I'm going to be starting to have breakfast at McDonald's now just for those tins. So yeah, thank you very much for all your ideas that you provide us in terms of your Greeblies. We'll definitely still look for you after today's show for every week's weekly Greeblies. So hopefully we'll find other projects that you have going, and we'll throw those on there so that people can keep in touch. But more importantly, guys, go and follow him on Instagram if you don't do that already. Electric_blue_station. Definitely go and check him out. I will definitely have a link to his Instagram in the description if I don't already have it there. But yeah, you definitely want to go check him out. He has some really amazing builds. We've only shown you a glimpse of what he has on his page, and you won't be disappointed. So until the next video, pirates, take care.
Thanks.